Hey everyone, Typical Hunks Adventure here, feeling a bit more like myself. Just dropped my son off for his last day of school. Definitely a bittersweet moment. I think back just as a parent, and of course my parents never did this with me as a kid, but having the board where you kind of, fill out the information, like your name, the last day of school or first day of school, things or have learned and stuff like that. I wish I just had more time, or could have thought about doing something like that. And today it was supposed to be like a Ohana day, so you're supposed to wear some like Hawaiian or like floral themed stuff. And my son has a tank top with like palm leaves on it, but he's not much of a tank top wearer, so he didn't want to wear that. And then we had some shorts like that, but it's actually a bit cold today, so I didn't want to have him wear shorts just for that. And I thought I had a Hawaiian lei that I had won from like a giveaway, but it turned out to just be like a bracelet, so I just had my son put that on, so it's at least something. But and then since we didn't really have any floral clothing, I decided to just put him in the shirt that he wore for his first day of school, so that way we kind of have a photo comparison. So I thought that kind of worked out well. But yeah, feeling a lot better today. Still a bit dizzy in a sense, probably from a lack of nutrients in my body. I did eat breakfast. I do have a coffee, so I am kind of getting back into the swing of things. Hopefully tomorrow I'm back to 100%. But working the one day this week, it has been rather busy because there's just so many things that I plan to get to this week, and then new things that have come up and so forth. So it's just a rush of things. I'm trying to do my best to get through them, but then also making sure that I'm not missing anything or making mistakes in that sense. And since I'm on call this week, today we do have product release, and on top of that release, there's some other things that'll be going on. So like this Saturday, we've got some work to do as well in the evening. But yeah, if the work released tonight, it kind of sucks only because my in-laws are coming tomorrow to watch our daughter, so that we go to my son's kind of like a little graduation ceremony thing from school, and we need to clean the house. But since we've all been sick, we haven't had time, and so today is kind of like the last day to do that. But if I'm doing this testing at nighttime, that's probably going to eat up a bit of the time as well, so that's not going to be fun. It's not fair to have my wife try and do all of that on her own, so I'll be trying to help where I can, in terms of making sure that the house is tidy in a sense. The weather today, it's rainy. The landscapers that were going to come this weekend, we rescheduled because the rain is supposed to continue throughout the weekend, and that's not going to be super ideal. I don't really want them driving through my front lawn with heavy equipment to get to the rock and move it and all that, and especially with them digging out the grass and stuff in the front too. So decided it'd be best to push it back, even if it does clear up, so be it. If anything, that kind of helps me because there are a couple of things I still wanted to do before they came, so I kind of look at it as, now I have a chance, and I'm feeling better that I may be able to do that this weekend. In terms of that, so that's kind of what I got going on today. Just trying to wrap it all up before I'm out again tomorrow. I did get some code updated and pushed out, so that was kind of nice, because that was one of the things I was still trying to figure out last week to have out for my team. And my wife, I hope, is feeling a little bit better. Yesterday, she wasn't feeling the best, so it sounds like she kind of got the bug next. And I don't know how she was feeling this morning, but she seemed to be up and about with my daughter, which was a good sign. But I guess I'll know once I'm back home to kind of see how that goes. Hey everyone, Typical Hunks Adventure here. Things were going all right at first. I was getting a bunch of stuff done in terms of work tasks. Actually felt pretty good trying to solve some coding issues that we had going on, and that was going great, and I was getting through my checklist of items, and one other thing after another would pop up. It's like, oh, we're also going to be doing a release for this, or having a patch for this, and we need you to test this, and, that. It's like, okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to not feel overwhelmed and make sure I have these things noted, because I'll be doing them a little bit, and then at 5 o'clock, and then I can do an internet reimbursement for working from home. I was trying to update my timesheet since I'd been out this week, and all of a sudden my monitor went out, and sometimes that does happen. I was like, okay, it's a blip, it'll come back, and it didn't come back. So I continued working on what I was doing because I didn't need the monitor at that time, and then decided to unplug and replug it in. Still didn't come back. And so at that point I decided to just test it without it connected to my laptop, and noticed nothing was happening with it. And I was like, oh great, did my monitor finally die? It's the last thing I need. And I looked down at my laptop and noticed it's not charging. So I'm like, okay, well, it seems like something else is out then. So I call out to my wife and ask if the power went out. And because she didn't have anything on downstairs, so she didn't notice, but she's like, yeah, looks like it's out. And I checked, I flip light switch, yep, nothing. So yeah, that's great. Hoping it comes back soon, but when we looked it up, it said the ETA was 5 o'clock, and it's currently 2:30, and I'm supposed to do something at 3, and then I also have stuff at 5. That kind of throws a wrench in things. Now, of course, I could probably use my mobile network on my phone and a hotspot and use that. It would be really slow, but that is something I could potentially do as long as my phone doesn't die. Speaking of, maybe I should probably have it charging in my car as best as I can. I do have USB power banks I can use as well, so I'll probably need to do that. But yeah, not something I was expecting, and definitely messes with things, especially on a day like this where I'm just trying to get everything wrapped up and completed, as many of the things as I can. Did have one test that was kind of weird, where it was just kind of blowing up. Like it couldn't even start and do any of the stuff that it needed to, and it wasn't anything like with our code. It was just, it couldn't even start like the test itself to like even open a browser. It was really confusing. And it said it was mad about one line of code that someone had added, so I removed it, ran the test, and then it just couldn't hit the web page. I was like, hey, that's further. So I ran it in a browser to watch it and see what it was doing. Maybe it just couldn't really get to that page, and that would be an easy issue fix. Or write up a defect and say, that page isn't working. But no, it passed. I was like, all right, well, that's good, but also I don't know why this test was, failing consistently too, or I was able to consistently see it fail before I took out that line of code. So it's like, all right, but I put that line of code back, still passes. So the only difference being that I ran it in a browser to watch it versus not. So when I get back, and if I have internet, the plan will be to run it without a browser now that it's passed in all of these ways, and set it back to exactly how it was and have it try and run, see if it works there. And if it does, then I don't know. Just a really weird blip, except for the fact that it was failing multiple times before it decided to pass, so it's still kind of flaky. I'll have to keep an eye out for it, but I'm happy with one thing I figured out. These tests have been failing for over a year, but they kind of use one URL for the website, but the page has 2 different tabs that do 2 different things in terms of actions on our website, but the URL stays the same. And so in our test, we have these things called a locker, which means no other test within a test case can access that page and do things on it, so that way they're not conflicting with each other. They always pass when we run them, but for some reason when they run over the weekend, they fail. And we've tried all kinds of different things, like adding waits so that it waits for things to happen, just all sorts of stuff, and just never had any luck. But I decided to make 2 lockers, so one for each tab, so that while one test is using any of those things and no other test in that test case can, it does make the test take longer. But I was just curious if that would, alleviate these failures that we see every weekend, because it is kind of frustrating. And I did get a chance to look, and I didn't see those anymore in the weekend run failure. So I was pretty happy with that. So the plan is to go and update my other tests that kind of use that same sort of test flow, update those, and who knows, maybe I won't have those anymore in our weekend run failures, and that would be awesome. That'd be a big win for me. So yeah, I'm off to get my son right now, and brought my work laptop, and I guess I'll turn my hotspot on and see if I can finish up some stuff, and who knows if the internet will be back when I get home. Well, I guess more just the internet, just power in general. So yeah, just so many little things going on, not just today, but this whole week. So, and tomorrow's my son's kind of like a preschool graduation ceremony thing, so we'll be going to that. Hopefully his outfit that my wife got him comes in time. It's supposed to be like a fairy tale themed thing, so I know that one of his friends, she'll be like a warrior princess, and I don't know what my wife got my son, probably some kind of like regal attire or something like that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully it comes in time. I don't want to try and drive out of town to get him something, especially with everything else going on. We'll be doing this late night testing, and then we got to clean the house, and yeah, there's always a lot going on. I feel like I definitely need a break, but just got to get through today, and then tomorrow we'll have off for that, and then yeah, some late night testing on Saturday. But it seems like the weather is kind of clearing up a little bit, so it is nice. So it's kind of surprising that we had the power outage. It's not like we had a storm hit. I mean, there are a lot of clouds. You can't really see it from this view, but yeah, it's a very overcast day with peaks of sunlight kind of coming through. So the roads might have been slick at one point. Maybe someone crashed into something. Would be nice if it was just routine maintenance, but if it was, they're usually pretty good about letting people know that in advance. So, but yeah, happy to be feeling better. Glad I'm able to record videos. Obviously, these ones may have not been as entertaining, so if I can make ones that, you know, are more about certain things in general instead of just me kind of blabbering about, you know, like what I've got going on in life. But that's also kind of the point of this channel as well. It doesn't always have to be something specific. Sometimes it's just going to be me kind of documenting and talking about my day and what I'm going through. Maybe others can relate about trying to get through an illness, and, you know, also needing to be a parent and be there for others, or just the struggles you have with work and just kind of, you know, talking through them. Sometimes that's helped me solve issues that I've had where, even with my code, where I can understand a piece of it, and then as I kind of talk through it out loud with someone and I'm walking them through it, usually then something will stand out to me like, oh, okay, that's the issue there. Or even sometimes it's kind of like a, I guess you would say, egg on your face, but not only just for me, but also my coworkers, where I will do a review of my code on Fridays with some of the manual testers who don't do coding, to kind of show them my code, but also explain it line by line and what it's doing. And usually when I do that, it's already been approved, which means 2 other automation engineers have already reviewed my code and give it the stamp of approval that everything looks good. And in those meetings, as I'm explaining it, I'll notice something like, oh, yeah, I forgot to take this line out, or I don't need this piece of code in here anymore, I should have taken that out. So it's good. It's a good review, because then I'm like, oh yeah, see, I totally missed these things, and you know, we're all human, that'll happen. And but then also for the reviewers, they're like, oh, I can't believe I missed that in the review. I could have, you know, let him know about that to fix it. So, but yeah, it's all good. And I kind of feel that way with these videos too. Sometimes just being able to express myself and talk, you know, even about these scenarios and things, sometimes stuff will come to mind, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I could do that, or it reminds me of things as well. So, but yeah, I'm happy to be back. In terms of mostly being myself, I would say I'm probably like 80-90% of the way there. I still have some like weird alertness, jitterness kind of going on, and it's probably just from lack of food. So as I eat some more, I'm hoping that kind of gets my body back into its regular functions, because yeah, I don't want anyone to have to go through what I did, because I felt so, you know, weak, vulnerable, and I wouldn't say, you know, like pathetic, but it's just a bit useless in a sense. But I was able to get my son to and from, and it was kind of cute that he helped me the night I was sick, where I let him take a bath, and I showered, and then I could barely even get out to the point and make sure that I was like, you know, washing his hair and everything like that, but I did. And then I kind of just laid on the bed for a moment, just trying to, you know, relax basically, because that's all my body would let me do. And he put his own clothes on, which he'll usually ask me to do. He knows how to do it, but he just won't, so I always have to help him. But he did it all, and then I even mentioned his shirt was on backwards and asked if he needed help, and he said no, and he took the shirt off and flipped it around. He put his towels away for me. He washed out the bathtub, which had bubble bath in it and everything. He was great for that, so I was really appreciative. And I came down with him and made sure that they had food, and that was one thing. He's like, "Dad, you need to eat. You haven't ate today. You need to come down so you can cook us food, and then also, you know, eat for yourself." So I was very happy that, you know, he was there for me in that kind of situation. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video then. So stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, so one other thing, I just got an update. So apparently the power company may not have power back for us until 10:30 at night tonight. Really hope that's not the case, because yeah, turns out that a construction worker hit a power line or a pole and just kept driving. They didn't stop and ended up pulling a bunch of cables out. So that's why we don't have power. That's real great. But yeah, I don't know how that's gonna affect me trying to wrap up some work today, and then yeah, we still have to do some cleaning around the house, so it'll be fun trying to get all that done without power, I guess. And okay, another side update. My wife just texted me and said the power's back on. So it came back within, I don't know, 30 minutes or so total. So I guess that's good. I'm still waiting to pick up my son, but hopefully the power stays on for the rest of the night. So that would be nice. And then if so, that means you probably will see this video on the day that I record it. So